Well, when we first started, it was kind of a strange feeling. The sort of popular music community thought we were jazz, and the jazz community thought we were pop. So we kind of lived in the netherworld.
I think that first trio was unique for a few reasons. I think that they were all, Dave Piltch and Aaron Davis and Holly, were all probably at the equivalent point in their careers in terms of trying to find their place.
When we started out as the trio, the first gigs we would do, there were some tunes that would be different every night, like completely different every night, as we were feeling things out. And then other tunes, where we would find things, we would arrange things that we really liked.
We actually really developed a lot of the material by playing at parties and the kind of stuff that Aaron was doing. That actually afforded us to create a repertoire.
It's just not what happens on the stage, it's also what happens off the stage. There has to be some chemistry. So my impression was that was happening both on stage and off stage. And as a result of that, the band was very connected. I think they were in that position of being able to sound like a unit. And I think that they played so often together that the kind of communication that they had was almost telepathic.
Well, I'll tell you, how I met Aaron was great. I was singing with a big band in a booze can, after hours speakeasy and stuff, where they sell illegal booze. I was singing with the big band there, and I think it was right after I got out of music school. And Aaron came to see me, and it was Aaron Davis. He was really already a very well-known musician and known as a great piano player and a great accompanist too for singers.
The thing that really struck me was when she did a version of My Funny Valentine, just piano and voice, and she was doing all this really, creative stuff. And it was clear that there was room for somebody to be responding in the same kind of spirit as what she was going, My Funny Valentine, whatever. She was doing some neat harmonic and very individual kind of moves. And so I thought, oh wow, I've got to try to play with her.
And we had a mutual friend in the audience, and she was also a singer. And he said to her, "Who's that singer with the big band?" And she said, "Oh," "That's Holly Cole. She's kind of new in town." And he said, "Oh, do you know her?" And she said, "Yeah." And he said, "Could I have her phone number?" And he said, "I'm thinking maybe I'd call her sometime." So she gave him my phone number, and then she came up, talked to me afterwards, and she said, "Did you know I was talking to Aaron Davis about you?" And I said, "I saw." And what did he say? And she said, he said he was thinking of phoning you sometime. And I thought, that's great. So the next day, in the morning, I get up the phone book and I'm going, Aaron Davis, Aaron Davis, Aaron Davis. And there's a whole bunch of Aaron Davises. So I'm phoning Aaron Davis. Hi, is this Aaron Davis? Yes. Are you Aaron Davis, the piano player? No. Okay, next. Hi, is this Aaron Davis? Yes. Aaron Davis, the piano player? No. Okay. So finally I get to Aaron, and it's like noon by now, I guess, but noon of the next day of a speakeasy. So we were there till probably 4 or 5. And I go, hi, is this Aaron Davis? Yeah. Aaron Davis, the piano player? Yeah. And I go, oh, hi, it's Holly Cole. I heard you were thinking of calling me.
I got a call saying, oh, hi, this is Holly Cole. I hear you were thinking of calling me. And so then I had to, said, yeah, I really enjoyed your show at the speakeasy. And I was, I'm writing songs, I'm working on some stuff. I thought maybe we could try to do something together. And she said, I'd love to. So when would you like to do it? Well, I don't know. What are you doing now? Nothing. I'll be right over. Where do you live? So, she came over, and then we started. The first tune that we played was Someone to Watch Over Me.
And he knew the verse, which blew my mind because it's obscure. And then we just played tunes, and it was kind of carved in stone. But so at the end of this, and this was just supposed to be let's get together and play, but we so gelled so totally and conceptually and with the material that we knew and loved, and also with being minimalists and sense of space and everything. And he said, he goes, do you know the bass player David Piltch? And I said, yes, because he also was a very well-known, famous musician in Toronto.
It was one of those things. We got to book a gig. We booked a gig. That was maybe like 3 months later, and worked Dave into it.
When I met Dave, I was in awe of both of them, and I was just out of music school, and And I couldn't believe that I was playing with both of them, singing with both of them, and nervous about it. And after Dave said this to me, and I remember it forever. He said when we sang one tune, and then he looked at me and he says this, he goes, "You've done your homework." And for some reason, that to me was like, yay, you know, and I felt great, and I won't ever forget that.
I think the trio coming out of the Queen Street scene was tremendous. And at that point in time, those people that were playing on Queen Street were kind of taking music apart and putting it back together again. And they're trying to do away with a lot of the preconceived notions about stereotypes and, you know, how specific genres of music should sound. And I think that really worked to the trio's advantage, because it was a period of experimentation and exploration and trying to find your uniqueness.
I feel so fortunate because I was able to meet, when I was really young, and form a band of people that were not just great musicians. That would be good enough, but it was better than that. It was great musicians that had a similar mindset and a similar aesthetic musically, like a love of space and a creative energy that was not predictable in a way, and also a love of many different styles of music. We came from maybe steeped a lot in jazz, but also other kinds of music, and not fearful of combining those kinds of music, or not only that, but combining different aspects of pop in jazz, or jazz in rock, or whatever it might be, combining different genres together and finding ways to make it work, you know, and not be forced.
When you watch Holly on stage, it's a who's who of Canadian music. She has attracted some of the best players, I think, in the business.
There are some tunes where I feel like, okay, I've got to really stick close to this arrangement. And other tunes where I feel like I've got to really lock in on this part of the tune here, but then here it's just all about listening and interacting.
Calling You was very much in the trio template, but that was always done. I mean, that was done for a long time. And then really, I mean, you know, the trio really only did the 2 records. Because
we didn't have drums, Dave invented this whole unbelievable way to play in the side of his bass percussion. Aaron had to take it. We all had to take care of things percussively and take up space or leave space or invent a whole sound, and which has been honed over time, and it became the sound of the band, and that was by accident. Silence, often the silence within music is the strongest thing that exists, because it creates tension, beautiful tension.
Her voice sounds differently when there are no cymbals ringing.
I have to say, in a nutshell, has influenced me in such a huge way I can't even put it into words, is the idea of space. It's something that I constantly strive to achieve, and it's really honestly, I owe it all to them, to David, Aaron, and Holly, without a doubt. That's one thing that they've taught me without telling me.